It's Yvonne here to do you what's cracking reading. Firstly, thank you so much for following me. If you're new on board, thank you for joining me. Thank you for all your beautiful comments, and for some of you for being with me for the whole time I've been here. What can I say? I get up every day feeling very, very grateful that I've been on this journey. So if you've been with me on the journey, it's been lovely to have you here. Okay, so now we get down to tin tacks. First off, we're using the Cosmic Tarot for your reading today. Please be wary of scammers. I got rid of a couple yesterday on my page too. Some of them approach you very directly, but some just put up other people's details to contact, and put a little sob story there so you get taken in. So just be really careful. If it's on my page, I haven't endorsed it. If they're pretending to be me, I don't solicit you for readings. That means I do not come after you for readings. I don't give free readings either, unless I'm on Facebook or YouTube for live readings, which I haven't had much time for lately, but I do them. All right. Please also consider, if you want to learn the tarot, that I'm running a program at the moment under the memberships. We've just finished the major arcana as of yesterday, so we'll be moving into the minor arcana, and then I'm going to start doing some groups and classes. So we're not far away. I might set some little, I guess, trials for you too. So we'll see how we go with that. And for the rest of you, if you're after personal readings with me, it's the AussieGoddess@gmail.com. I haven't put my webpage back up because it's still been fairly quiet. So when things pick up again, I'll get the website up and running again. All right, let's get into this reading. Okay, so we have the Eight of Pentacles coming out. The Eight of Pentacles for me is a card that represents work, whether that is where you go to work, what you do for work. Sometimes, you know, depending on what else comes up around it, it is very relevant to the work you're doing on yourself, which has come up quite a lot in the readings of late. Sometimes people ask me, you know, what do you mean when you say working on yourself? And I guess, you know, it's about us really knowing who we are and knowing how we can improve our lives. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It's about making our lives more whole and complete, more fruitful, more enjoyable. You know, if you, for example, suffered with something like a low self-esteem, then working on that will give you a much better peace in your life. Where you start is up to you. When I look back at my journey, so many years ago, when I had notes all over the house and boards up and pictures of people, and all over my house when my kids were little, because my self-esteem was so low that I really needed to bring my own attention to it. I really needed to understand why that was so low and how to bring myself around. So I started off in the world of affirmations, looking in the mirror, smiling at myself, telling myself how much, and I felt really silly in those times doing that because I really didn't understand the sort of impact it would have on me in the long run. I can't say that I am 100% confident or 100% in my own skin still. I think that the issues around what serve you when you're young probably take a lifetime of working through. But I'm certainly 100% better than what I was then, without any doubt. So I still work on myself. So when something comes to my attention and I think, wow, where did that come from? What raised that up? What's reminded me? It might be a memory or something like that. Then I realize maybe it's time to sort of go back and do a little bit more work on myself. So that when I exit this world, I will be the best possible version of myself. Now, I see a lot of younger people coming through, and I certainly work with a lot of younger people in my life coaching. And I see them already paying attention, understanding the value of it, understanding how to get to know yourself well, how to stand in your truth, know who you are, and be comfortable with setting healthy boundaries. But it does take work. And when I see this card, it's a reminder that we can't we can't bury ourselves in what makes us incomplete. We need to surround ourselves with what makes us complete. And the more complete we are, the better it is for people around us. And the more we surround ourselves with people who really support us. So when I see that, there's a lot of energy of all that stuff going on. Look, Four of Swords, it's time to take time out. Whatever this is, it's definitely about self-work. But it's about taking time out. And don't forget, self-work is about what you do for a living too. You know, sometimes we sort of trudge along in a career that we think is right for us, and then one day we wake up and think, I really wanted much more from my life, and we have to go back and do something. I think I was probably maybe 34, 35 when I started out on my self-discovery journey. Although before that I was still doing the affirmations and everything, but in terms of my education, because I hadn't finished school. So I did a uni degree probably in my early 40s. And I did go back and do a lot of work and ended up in a career of welfare. So I feel like here, this makes me feel like, yeah, it's like you're putting an end to something. It's like you're saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not this person. I want to be more of that person. I want to go out and have an education, you know, put myself on the path of what I want to do. I'm going to follow my heart and I'm going to really go after something. And there's an end of negative thinking. So maybe it's the end of you beating yourself up because you haven't done those things. And, you know, you hear people say things, I'm too old for that. And I think you're never too old. There are people in 80s and 90s who go back and earn a degree, who jump out of planes, who, you know, parachute, who mountain climb. So there is no age limit to what you do. And I think that you are only ever as old as you feel. So I don't put any sort of judgment on anything like that, because I think once people pick up whatever they need to do and go with it, that to me is ending one part of your life to start something new. And I can see here with the Hanged Man, it's like going, this is very much about sort of going back into yourself here with the Hanged Man to really understand who you are and what you want to do. You know, we all have our own sort of passions and drives, and are we really fulfilling that? Are we, you know, really getting to the core of who we are and really understanding what we want to do? Sometimes I watch things and I look at, you know, things in movies and shows, and I think, you know, I would have loved to pursue that. I was very much into acting when I was young. I still have a fascination for stage makeup and things like that. But that is something that I'm passionate about and watch, but not really passionate enough to chase after. But certainly if I, you know, had gone in that direction, my life would have been very different. But definitely feeling here that you may be doing some work around researching. So you may not have quite known where you wanted to go. You might be doing things like, or what do they call it? Like, there is sort of like a process you go through to see what your skills are and what you need to sort of add to your skills. And I can't think of the name of it, but I remember doing that. This is about learning self-love. And I always say, like, the idea of self-love is so hard to grasp until you really start to understand what that means. And certainly, you know, loving yourself means really going after your dreams. You only have one life. If you don't fulfill yourself in this one, you don't get another go at it. And I think that's why you need to really sort of rip off that band-aid and go for whatever it is you need to go for, because if you are sort of just accepting where you are and not really going after what you want, or putting it on the back burner, or saying I'll do it one day or whatever, there's no time like the present. There is no time like the present. Get going, do what you need to do, and don't make excuses up for yourself. We all do it. We all do it. Oh, I'll wait till next year when things are this, or I'll do this later when things are that. And nothing changes. It will still be the same. In another 12 months, you'll still be making excuses. So sign up, get out there, do what you need to do. All right, so we have 7 of Cups coming through. So there definitely is a dream here. 6 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. I love it. Okay, and the 6 of Cups. There is something here I'm speaking to that perhaps you've wanted to do since you were a child. So maybe it's, I don't know, write books for kids. Maybe you've always wanted to be involved in the filmmaking industry. Maybe you just haven't quite decided what part it is, but you want to go after that particular aspect. And I feel like sometimes too, it's that crossover thing where you might want to sort of go over into a completely different industry. And maybe you've had people say to you when you were young, like I always talk about with the astronaut, maybe somehow or another somebody coerced you or tried to get you to do something different because that was what they saw was really good in you. I still haven't got there. I still think sometimes I'd love to do this or I'd love to do that, but I only have so many hours in a day and that I can fit what I can in doing that. So at the moment I'm upgrading my my qualifications. I'm doing a uni degree. I'm getting back into reading books, which I haven't done for a really long time. So I'm sort of really plumped out with what I want to do, and I'm very happy doing what I do. So we have the Magician here. You can achieve anything when the Magician comes around. We do have the Devil next to the Magician. Major Arcana's on the middle line again with the Justice card. Okay, this is the fear holding you back. So I see it next to the Magician, and it's in the middle of the Magician and the Justice card. And that says to me here, your fears are driving you. Perhaps you have a fear of success. Perhaps you have a fear of what they call failure. None of those really exist. They're just steps to getting better at what you do. So when that card comes out, the moment I felt the energy of that Devil card, I went, you know what? This is all about your own fears holding you back. The Justice card over the 6 of Cups, this is something that's written in the stars for you. This is something that was meant for you. It has always been around. And the 10 of Cups tells me whatever it is that you are sitting there wondering if you should pursue is going to be a dream come true for you. That's all in the cards here. All right, 3 of Pentacles. Maybe it's starting up your own business here. Maybe you've got an idea for something. 3 of Wands. Focusing on the future here. And we do have the Tower coming through at the end. Now, this is where I say to you, sometimes the people say, oh, there's the Tower, there's the Death card, there's the Devil card. I'm like, yes, that's great to see them come up in a reading. For me, the Tower is very much about raising everything to the ground, like taking it all away and starting all over again and rebuilding yourself. Forget what you've done before. Don't look at your past as being really an impact on what you want to do going forward. You've learned a lot. No matter who you are, you have already learned a lot. So start back at the beginning. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what experiences you've had. Go right back to the beginning and start again. That's what the Tower means. It's about slaying everything, getting rid of everything and starting all over. And sometimes it is a little bit of a painful process. Absolutely. It isn't easy to say, you know what, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to university. I'm going to go back and learn a new career. I'm going to change this about myself. I'm going to change that about myself. And everything has to come with a price. But is that price worth what you're paying for it? So if it is about going back and starting again and building a brand new version of yourself, then that is what you should be doing. Why not? Nobody's there to tell you you can't. And if people do, they're not worth having around anyway. What you want is people to say to you, oh, you want to become an elephant trainer? Well, that's fabulous. I think that would be an incredible career for you. I will support you 100% of the way. What you don't need is people pulling you down because they have problems and issues with what they've done and they don't want to see you succeed. But we don't see that. So when somebody says to us, you know, you can't be an elephant trainer, you just don't have the skills for that. That's because they don't want to see you succeed at being an elephant trainer because perhaps they've never followed their dream. So when the Tower card comes around, I will pull another card to go over it. Look, Ace of Wands, a brand new beginning built from the foundations of who you are. Absolutely. What a beautiful reading. Let's just have a quick skim over. I feel like you're going back to do something. Whatever it is, you are taking time out to try and understand the direction you want to go in. All you know here is that you want a new beginning, but you also want to leave the past behind. So I figure this is sort of letting go of any negative energy that you've gathered along the way and putting it all on the back burner. Yeah, sure, it creeps back in every now and again, but the stronger you get, the harder it will be to pull you down. So I see you thinking about something here and you're researching here, but ultimately this is what you're after, fulfilling yourself at such a deep level. So what you're after is to find exactly what you feel will make you tick. I know that I have lots of things that I love to do, lots of things that I love to find out. I've got a real thirst for knowledge and a bundle of trivia in my head. So I won't stop learning because it makes it to me, it completes who I am. All right, let's read you an oracle card. Nope. Hey, there it is. The resting tree, patience and stillness, which is very much that sort of hanged man energy with the Four of Swords. So that makes a whole lot of sense. Card number 22, if you're a numbers person. I opened the page to 33 and went straight to 22, so that was quite interesting. The resting tree is a sign for you to stop focusing and planning and be at peace in the moment, and that's what you need at the moment, perhaps, to find who you are or where you're going. Patience is the key to being with this ally. The resting tree asks you to slow down, sit back and watch the roses bloom and the birds feed in the meadow. Maybe that's when you get your greatest ideas. You just think of the apple landing on Thursday morning, brain full of mush. You'll know who I'm talking about. This isn't the time to forge ahead. Taking breaks, invited to be still and contemplate your good fortune. So I think this is what you're doing at the moment. You may be either just getting to this and people will know this reading will feel like it's your reading. You may be just getting to the point where you're going, you know what, I feel like my life belongs to everybody else but me. Or maybe your children are getting a bit older and you've got the freedom to do something. And maybe it's simple. Maybe you just want to go out and do volunteer work or, you know, sort of catch up with your community, get back in there. Again, something I did in the early places just to see what I wanted to do. Whatever it is for you, I feel like you're on a brand new journey and you're breaking out of your shell here. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.